Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And on behalf of my colleagues of the Lowell School Committee and the superintendent and her administration, I'd like to welcome you to the school committee meeting this evening. Welcome the student athletes, the coaches, parents, family, friends to the meeting. Let us begin by honoring America and saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Doherty. Here. Ms. Larraba.
Here.
Mr. Leahy.
Here.
Mr. Leary.
Here.
Ms. Martin.
Here.
Mayor Milanazzo.
Here.
Mr. Conway.
Here.
7 present.
Thank you. Again, welcome. Our first order of business this evening is our special order of business, which is a spotlight on excellence, Lowell High School winter sports. What I'd like to do, if it's okay with my colleagues, is to recognize Jim DeProfio, our athletic director, who will recognize 2 athletes for their recent accomplishments and also highlight various coaches, teams for their championships and awards. So if I could, Mr. DeProfio.
Dr. Scott and members of the Central Administration. On behalf of the headmaster, I'd like to present some spotlights on excellence from our fall athletic season, and thank you very much for your time this evening. I'd first like to introduce to you Mary Ann Ryan. Mary Ann is a senior student athlete. Mary Ann is a senior student athlete at Lowell High School, and she was a finalist statewide for the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association Student Athlete, and is actually still in the running for one of the top awards. I'd just like to take a moment, with your permission, to read our nomination for Mary Ann. Mary Ann is the epitome of a student athlete and a shining example of Lowell High School's mission statement: commitment to excellence in everything we do, academics, activities, and citizenship. Academically, Mary Ann achieves at a high level with a very demanding college preparatory schedule, including honors and advanced placement courses. Her excellent academic record has earned her membership in the National Honor Society. Mary Ann is also very involved in student activities. She is a captain of both the field hockey and lacrosse teams. In addition, she is active in many clubs, including the International Language Club, Pep Club, and Environmental Club. In the winter, she is the team manager for our ice hockey team. It is in the area of citizenship that Mary Ann excels above and beyond her other excellent accomplishments. Mary Ann serves on the school's Senior Student Athlete Advisory and Captain's Council. She has the rare combination of natural leadership ability and the desire to refine those leadership skills. She is well-liked, trusted, and respected by both students and staff at our school. And I was proud to nominate Mary Ann as a Student Athlete of the Month from Lowell High School.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mary Ann.
Next, it's my pleasure to present to you James Rindo. James is also a senior student athlete at Lowell High School, and James finished 3rd in the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association Sportsmanship Essay Contest. The theme of the essays was, "How do your choices impact sportsmanship?" And there were several hundred entries from all over the state, and I'm happy to say that Jimmy finished in the 3rd position in the contest, and he was able to present his essay at Gillette Stadium at the State Sportsmanship Summit. So if it would be all right, Mr. Mayor, Jimmy just would present his short essay to you. Go ahead, Jimmy.
It was the second round at the National Tennis Tournament at the Albany Racquet Club, where I was in a grueling 3rd set with another player from upstate New York. Throughout the match, my opponent has, as some players of the sport say, hooked me on a few shots, forcing me to lose points, some crucial, some not. Already battling fatigue and frustration, we had reached a deciding point in the match, one that would create a huge advantage for the winner. I vividly remember that point, for my heart was pounding, body was hurting, and mind was racing with various strategies. I quickly served, and thus the rally had begun, allowing me to wait for my opportunity to see the short ball and slam a winner. Soon my chance had arrived. I saw the open court and painted the line with an amazing shot. However, that one word, out, that I had heard moments later, still rings in my ears today. He had cheated again, and although furious and heartbroken, I could not change a thing, for it was his call and there were no officials present. From that point on, what I did, or most importantly, what I didn't do, remains one of the proudest and most mature choices of my life. That tournament proved to be an important learning lesson for me. Although I went on to lose that match, I did not act reactively and let my emotions get the best of me. Instead, I kept a cool head, remained calm, and did my best to maintain good sportsmanship. Despite the fact that this match was one of the biggest of my life, I knew deep inside that I was truly a winner for showing great respect for my sport and good ethics. What I take pride in most from that experience is my ability to let my love for tennis come before my desire to win. I feel I made the right decision that day to preserve my honor and walk away a genuine winner. To me, the choice was easy. It wasn't a question of winning or losing, but as long as a love for the sport was present, the answer was simple. By letting a sense of integrity constantly guiding you in the right path and lead you to become the best person you could be, and nothing less, your sportsmanship will always be admired by all.
Very well done, James.
Mr. Mayor, we have 4 teams that we'd like to recognize for excellent achievement in various ways over the fall. The first team I'd like to recognize is the girls' cross-country team and head coach Mary Beth Donnelly. Coach.
Hi, Mary Beth McKinney. I'm actually the girls' cross-country coach. I'd like to just recognize the girls on the team first, if they could stand up. Erin Donovan, Katie Ciccarelli, Carly Maloney, Brianna Allison, Johanna Zachara, Megan Farrell, Brittany Betancourt. Am I missing anybody? Come on up, girls. Cynthia Vilchis, Michaela Sheridan. I think that's it. All right. Just like to talk a little bit about our season. We finished overall record with 8-2 in the Merrimack Valley, which was the best record for girls cross country since 1990. We were Division II champions. We finished 7th in the Eastern Mass State Championship as well, which is the best record in 15 years. We had several all-conference and all-star runners, and 2 of them who made it to the all-state meet. Just like to say a few things about the girls. It was a pleasure working with them. Obviously, a very hard-working group of student athletes. And I'd just like to thank the parents as well for their support, for obviously getting them to meets and practices. If it wasn't for them, I don't think the kids would be as successful. So it's very important to have parental support. We had a few volunteer coaches I'd like to also recognize: Tim Patterson, Trish Gabor, Patrick Sweat, and Pat Marassi, who were very helpful as well with the team and their success, and also Jim DeProfio's support as well. Thank you.
Congratulations, ladies.
The next team we'd like to recognize is the girls' swim team, Coach Kristen Donahue, her assistant coaches, and some of the girls. And I would like, while they're on the way up, to read this plaque. This is from the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association Annual Sportsmanship Award for outstanding allegiance to the ideals of sportsmanship during the 2009 season, the MIA Girls Division I Fall Swimming and Diving Season, Lowell High School.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us here tonight. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. To my right here is the girls swim team. We had a great season. We finished 6-4. We finished 10th at the North Sectional meet and 13th at the Division I state meet, which is an improvement from last year. This is my 7th year with the team, and this is a wonderful group of girls. This was by far our biggest team that we've had, and I owe a lot of that to my senior captains, Molly Brooks and Krista Fisher and Nicole Hayden. They worked very hard in the off-season to recruit around the school, and when we showed up on day one, I was very pleased to have almost 30 girls. And one of the best things about this season, this team, is we were an extremely diverse group. We were diverse culturally, but we were also very diverse in ability levels. Towards the end of the season, when the coaches submit their state entries, we had 7 girls that had qualified. All of the coaches are asked to nominate another team within the state for the Sportsmanship Award. So with X amount of coaches throughout the state, we were chosen for the Division I Sportsmanship Award. And there are just a couple of things that I wanted to say about that achievement. Again, we were just a very diverse group, and I couldn't be more proud of the girls. They just represented Lowell High School so positively day after day. Like I said, we had a lot of beginner swimmers, girls that were new to competitive athletics, and they, kind of learned the ropes. The veteran swimmers kind of took them under their wings, and they just came together week after week after week as far as practices and showing up to meets, and just, again, positively representing Lowell High School. So I give you guys a lot of credit. You did a great job, and I think I'm very proud that we won this award and we so positively represented Lowell High School. So, congratulations.
Thank you, Coach Donahue. Well done.
Our next team is the crew team, both the boys and girls teams, and this fall they finished second in the Massachusetts Public School Rowing Championships in the entire state. Coach Kendra Bauer.
Hi. My name is Kendra Bauer, and I first want to start off by thanking you for your continued support of us, both financially and supporting all the things that we do. This was a really tremendous year. We started out on our own home course, rowing the Textile River Regatta, where we received several medals. We also had an unprecedented number of boats this year in the Head of the Charles. We actually had 5 boats, which is the most of any school, private or public, in the state of Massachusetts, rowing at the Head of the Charles, which just is attributed to the kind of legacy that we have. A bunch of boats qualified last year, so we were able to go again. And then on the state level, we did come in second place in the state, with every top boat finishing in the top 4 in the state, which is really impressive, and the varsity girls getting 2 second-place medals, which was really excellent. The crew team, just kind of raise your hand if you're on the crew team. This is actually just captains and seniors, or senior and captain. So we're graduating a really big group this year, which is exciting because they've been really tremendous leaders. We had a team of about 95 rowers this past fall, which is a huge team, and I want to recognize Jess Murray. She's actually returning to us after rowing Division I at San Diego State. She rowed for 4 years at the high school and then rowed Division I, and she's now coaching our varsity boys, which is really excellent and exciting to see a lot of our returning athletes coming back and coaching at the high school. So they inspire me every day, and I'm really proud to be their coach.
Thank you, Coach Bauer.
Our final team this evening is the boys cross country team, led by Coach Phil Meyer. The boys cross country team were the MIAA Eastern Massachusetts Division I state champions.
Members of the school committee, Mr. Mayor, it's an honor to be here before you. I'd just like to introduce the team. These are actually certainly the top 7, the fastest kids in Eastern Massachusetts. Our senior captains, Dominic Gonzalez, Nick Mullen, and behind them we have Patrick Donovan, Mike Gendron, Alex Sandohar, and Jose Negron. And Mike Jardine is over here. Jimmy Render was also on our team. Andrew Cook, Mike Messina, raise your hand, Mike. We have Barry Francoeur is in the back. Max Meehan next to him. We have a large group, a small representation is here. We have about almost 40 student athletes in the program. Our season started a bit with some enthusiasm. They're a young team. Most of them are back for next year. So the anticipation was that we would do well next year. I said to the boys, we've done well with young teams, so there's no reason why we can't do well this year. The boys put in a good summer of running. The senior leadership was very obvious in that coordination of summer training, just getting together, just doing fun things, really. And then when we started the season, we had a great win at the Bay State Invitational, which sort of caught the media and labeled us, well, you're number one now, but will you be number one at the end? So we were happy to deliver that. Anyway, being respectful for your time, I'd just like to thank you very much for your continued support, and we hope to do it again next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the time and the invitation this evening. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you all very much for being here. On behalf of my colleagues on the school committee, I just want to say how very proud we are of how you represent the Lowell Public Schools and how being here tonight really makes it, I'll speak for myself, very worthwhile to be a public servant to represent you all in this community. So thank you very, very much, and continue the good work. Thank you. Thank you again. Why don't we get back to the agenda? Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular school committee meeting of December 16th, 2009. Motion by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Leary. Roll call.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Ms. Larrabell.
Yes.
Mr. Leahy.
Yes.
Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Milanazzo.
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Can I make one correction on that? Those were the minutes of the January 6th meeting. I apologize. I said December 16th. January 6th. Permission to enter. There's no permission to enter this evening. Memorials. We have 2 memorials this evening. The first one, Joseph Golis, father of Joe Golis, Lowell High School, in-house suspension staff member, and father-in-law of Claire Golis, coordinator of safe and drug-free schools. And the second memorial is for Larry Traw, father of City Councilor Frankie Dakota. Could we please rise in a moment of silence and darken chambers? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Penny. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Georges. Next item on the agenda under unfinished business by Mayor James Milanazzo, the 2010-2011 school committee subcommittee assignments. They were in your packets. I would entertain a motion to approve as presented by Mr. Leahy, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Roll call.
Can I just ask a question first?
You sure
Also?
can, yes.
Thank you. And you did a great job.
But,
No, I just have one this hasn't come up before for us in a number of years, so I was wondering, before we approve it, or we can approve it, but I would like to just ask for a discussion on a couple of items. And I don't know if maybe we want to just send it to a subcommittee or just talk tonight and change it or not, but we have a bilingual education subcommittee.
yes,
And we really don't, that really doesn't meet anymore, but there seems to be a need for maybe a student services subcommittee. There's a few things that could fall into that category. So, and I know this is last minute, I just kind of was going over this last night, so there hasn't been any discussion with anybody yet, so I guess I'd ask for your guidance on that. Do we
I can.
approve it and then change it later? or do we-
We can do that. I can tell you that I have been meeting with representatives from Lowell and UTEC and others in the community to reinvigorate the Immigration Commission and to try to have an educational component and maybe have a joint committee of the school committee and the city council at some point in the future as this thing really takes shape. So it might make some sense, at least for the time being, to leave the bilingual subcommittee in place because there might be a reason to meet, I guess is
Okay.
my point, based upon the fact that we've had a couple of discussions with people involved in the immigration community and dealing with immigration issues, and they would like us to reinvigorate the Immigration Commission, which has been dormant for about 6 years now.
Okay, so why don't we could approve this as is tonight, and then I could bring up a motion
Correct.
to have a discussion about a
Correct, if you don't
student
mind.
services. Yeah,
That'd
okay,
be
I'll do
fine.
that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion, Ms. Martin?
If I could, just to say, I believe that the bilingual education subcommittee was created as part of our desegregation plan. So I think it's historical in that it's been in place since then. And I don't know if that's I'm assuming it's part of the consent decree that it has to exist.
Okay.
I think the idea that it's going to be reinvigorated and we're actually going to meet regularly and be able to take on some tasks is fabulous. So as apparently a member of that subcommittee, I'll be looking forward to that. My other offering would be, in terms of the student support services, it might make sense, and I'd defer to my colleague on this, special education has been kind of the catch-all for that. If we even wanted to just recognize amongst ourselves, perhaps change the title of the subcommittee, that could be, the way our system has been set up now, student support services has kind of subsumed special education. So if we even just called that the special education / student support services, and then Assistant Superintendent Murphy will have
Okay.
just as many meetings. to go.
Again, I'm fine if you'd like to put that in the form of a motion to
Right.
change the special
Why
education.
don't we do that?
Why don't we do that? Okay.
Sure.
Motion by, Ms. Martin, seconded by Mr. Leahy. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. The vote.
I'd move approval for the subcommittees.
A motion to approve by Ms. Martin, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Roll call.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Ms. Larrabee.
Yes.
Mr. Leahy.
Yes.
Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Milanazzo.
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
7 yeas, approve. And approve as amended, because it was
Yes,
amended.
thank you. And let me just thank my colleagues. I appreciate everyone's input as I did go through the process of filling the subcommittee position. So again, thank you for your participation and cooperation. Public participation? Nothing under public participation. Motions. We have two motions this evening. The first by David Conway to ask the superintendent and the athletic director to investigate the feasibility of offering local businesses and other revenue sources the opportunity to advertise their services through various school-related activities, events, with the revenues received through such activities to be used to help sustain our athletic programs. Second by Ms. Doherty. Mr. Conway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think that if we take a look at the problems that we encountered last year with our finances, I think the outlook is going to be probably not that positive this year either. If we look on the federal level, we certainly see that in the last 12 months, our deficit has actually tripled. We have 10% unemployment, and many more individuals are underemployed. And on the state level, I think the situation is just as bleak. And therefore, I think it's incumbent on us to try to come up with as many ideas possible that's going to affect the budget in a positive way. And I think with this particular motion, it might help to sustain our athletic programs and try to divert any kind of problems that we could encounter. And I think that if we take a look at this particular process of advertising is done in other communities. For example, in Haverhill, this information was given to me, and I think that it's something that we should certainly explore, because a lot of the individuals, businesses, companies, they are very, very happy giving us support, financial support. And I think that under the circumstances, here is a different situation that we are now taking a look at. So we have companies, they're not just giving us money, but it's also coming out of their advertisement, which I think can also help our companies within the city too. So I think that here's a motion that I certainly hope my colleagues accept. And I also think that it might be a good idea, because it's going to get kind of involved, that perhaps this could be, if it's passed, it goes into the subcommittee on athletics so that we can investigate a little bit further.
So
Thank you.
We'd like to refer to the athletic subcommittee.
Yes, if it passes.
Passes, okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Leary, then Ms. Doherty.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent motion. I think that the components here about advertising, using revenue, is something we discussed at length regarding bringing some of the business community to talk about maybe could it help us fund some of our programs. And I think Boston is actually doing something similar to that already in terms of their actual athletics. So we've had some brief discussions on it, but it's good to have a formalized motion in this. And I think Mr. DeProfio actually has begun some of this process with the Outback Steakhouse. If you went to the football games, you saw a lot of the some of the Outback stuff, and I think some other companies that he may have articulated. So there's good discussion on it that's already begun. I think that's an excellent motion and something that, with the fiscal reality, that we're going to really have to take a look at this. So I think it's presently appropriate. Thank you.
Okay. What I'd like to do is entertain a motion to actually amend the motion to refer to the athletic subcommittee upon approval by Ms. Doherty, second by Mr. Leahy. Any further discussion on the motion as amended? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. Second motion by Ms. Larraba, a subcommittee discussion about the oversight of club advisors, coaches regarding team building activities and field trips, as well as the oversight of students regarding their leadership and inclusion of all fellow students in club team events. Seconded by Ms. Doherty. Ms. Larraba.
Thank you very much. I just want to make sure that we have an understanding with our club advisors and coaches as to what the standards are with Lowell High School. I know we have some coaches and advisors that are not teachers. I just want to make sure that if the team decides that they're going to go out to dinner, that they're not going to a Hooters restaurant. Who's overseeing what they're deciding to do with these kids? Who's making sure that what they're doing is appropriate with the kids? and that if we are doing any kind of team-building activity, that it doesn't become a small clique of kids on the team that are doing it, that it's open to the entire team membership or the entire club membership, that it truly is a team-building activity with all the team members. Thank you.
Thank you. Your motion does request a subcommittee discussion. Did you have a specific subcommittee that you'd like it referred to? Or-
I wasn't clear if that would be a high school one, or if there was another one that was, because there is an athletic component to it, but there is the club component to it, so I was not clear as to which one would be the best.
Okay.
I'd
Madam
probably
Superintendent, I'm sorry, Mr. Leahy.
Probably send it to athletics, they're not too busy, so.
Send it to athletics.
Athletics, I would say.
Mr. Conway, Madam Superintendent. Yes, Madam Superintendent.
Thank you. My suggestion would be a joint committee of the high school and the athletics, because I think there is a crossover between administration and the athletics department.
Okay. Mr. Conway?
I appreciate my colleague volunteering it to go to the athletic, and I think that there is certainly, when you take a look at the motion, there certainly is the athletic component to it, but I think it goes a little bit broader than that. And I agree, it should be also with Lowell High School. And I think it might be advantageous that we combine the two of them on this particular motion so that everything is covered.
I'm not sure we actually do need an amendment, but if you'd like one, we will do that. To amend it, to send it to a joint meeting of the Lowell High School Subcommittee and the Athletic Subcommittee by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Conway. All those in favor of the motion as amended, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, vote. Thank you. Continuing on with the agenda, under subcommittees, we do have a facility subcommittee report. Facility subcommittee did meet on Wednesday, January 13th, so I would look to the chair, Mr. Leahy, to update the committee as to what took place at the subcommittee.
Thank you,
Mr.
Ron.
Leahy.
Can't find my date here. Wednesday, is today the 30th? We have the subcommittee meeting Wednesday, January 30th at the high school at 12:30 p.m. Present were myself, Mr. Doherty, Mr. Leary, Ms. Doherty, Mr. Conway. Also present was Mr. Lang, Brian Curley, Headmaster Samaras, Wendy Jack, Roxanne Howe, Patrick Harrigan, T.J. McCarthy, Dave Blazon, DPW Commissioner of Public Works, and I think that was it. We had a room full. So on the agenda, we briefly went over the heating discussions at the high school, because I know they are working on the heat. It is a concern, and I know that between our facilities coordinator and the DPW, they are addressing the issues to make sure that the heat is working properly for the high school. So we do want to make sure that, let people know that we are addressing that issue. So they're working on that. Second issue we talked about were the floors, the carpeting, tile, stairway treads, and all the rolled flooring. And in some cases, the floors are getting quite beat up because of the traffic and the amount of students in the high school. So we had a discussion with everybody, but particularly with Mr. Blazon, Mr. Curley, and they're gonna come up with a plan for the stair treads, a plan of action to replace tile, the rolled-up tile that's in the hallways and the stairwells, and the tile in certain hallways in the older building. So we did stress the need for that, tripping issues, safety for everyone in the building, and just look, so when we have visitors, we want the building look respectable. One of the other major concerns that we talked about were the locker rooms downstairs by the pool. Mr. Blazon, again, is going to work with Mr. Curley to come up with some suggestions, some plans. some of the issues that we're having, the showers in some of the locker rooms, they get used quite heavily. There's plumbing issues, and there's some floor tile issues. So we want to make sure that we address that for cleanliness, make sure that the place looks cleaned up. Last year, they did do some repairs in the locker rooms. They painted all the lockers. They did repair. We did have one locker room. We had a shower, one of the shower units in the varsity locker room. It was all retiled, cleaned up. The plumbing was done. So we just want to make sure, basically, that we're keeping on top of these issues before they get really out of hand and cost us a lot of money. I did have one, going back to the heating issue. We did have a discussion, and this has been brought up before, and I think that we really do need to sit down and try to discuss an option for the school system. The city employs 2 to 3 plumbers. From talking to Mr. McCarthy, Mr. Blazon, Mr. Harrington at the high school, it's not unusual that we could have a plumber tied up there for 2, 3, 4 days at a time. So over the years, we have brought up the discussion that we would like to have some sort of a custodian / janitor in our school system, so that way we're not taking away one employee for the whole city. And it kind of makes sense because sometimes we don't need to call the plumber over if the toilets are clogged or it's just a small leak or a handle fell off. If we could have our own custodian, say, / plumber on our payroll, it would alleviate a lot of our problems before they turn into big problems. So that's going to be an ongoing discussion, but and I'll bring that motion in again at a later time. But we did talk about that. I was encouraged by a few people, Mr. McCarthy and Mr. Blazon and Mr. Harrington, even the headmaster was saying, you know, it is really time that we sit down and discuss that and try to work something out between unions and the city staff. So, let's see, out of the discussion on the first part with the heat, the floors, and the locker rooms, there was a motion made by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Leary, to request an analysis of the costs associated with the requested capital expenditure needs, as well as recommended prioritization of identified capital expenditure needs by Lowell High School staff. And second, a building maintenance plan that incorporates daily, weekly, and specialty area cleaning, being sensitive to providing timely cleaning for after-school and evening events at the high school. So that was approved 3-0. And then the second part of the meeting, we had a discussion. Mr. Lang is going to bring in some information at the next meeting for us, for the next meeting. What we'd like to investigate is having an on-call overnight and weekend emergency coverage stipend. So right now we have Mr. Curley, who's in charge of buildings operations. Last year, we did have a second person that worked a later shift. He was supervisor of custodians. That position was not funded due to budget cuts. Mr. Curley basically is on 24 hours a day now. He shares some of the responsibility with the night calls between Mr. Lang and Mr. Cassidy, but it's really getting a lot for him to be working an 8, 9, 10-hour day for us, and then to be called out in the middle of the night for 1 or maybe 2 calls. So we'd like to get the report from Mr. Lang and see if there is a need to bring in a small stipend, and we'll see how they work it out and present it to us. But we'd like to see how that will go, and the possibility of having a stipend for somebody to be on call, however it works out. So there was a motion to, and then there was just a motion to accept that as a report of progress. And the meeting adjourned at 1:45.
Thank you.
That was it.
Thank you, Mr. Leahy. Ms. Doherty?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd just like to make a few comments on the meeting. One thing that astounded me was the level of costs that we're looking at with the stairwells and the floors. I mean, if you think about it, you've got 3,800 teenagers there, and then you've got all the adults. There's a lot of wear and tear on that building. And to just try to get a handle on what are the priority areas that absolutely have to be dealt with and what that is going to cost us. I mean, I think we looked at a number of like $100,000 for some of this stuff. And that's why you'll see in the motion we asked for the high school to prioritize absolutely what safety issues. If it's stairwells that kids could be falling down, things like that have to be given priority. And then the second piece that again reflects back to the motion regarding a plan from the high school in terms of cleaning the areas. As I don't have to remind my committee, we last year, I think, eliminated 14 custodial positions across the district in a number of cuts that were made to, find $8 million that we didn't have. And that's been years of reducing custodial staff. So when we talk about, as I did at the meeting, I had gotten a call on Monday about a basketball game at the high school Friday night where Drakeit was there. And just this parent, 20 minutes on the phone with me about how embarrassed she was by the condition of the bleachers, when they opened the bleachers, all the food that was in them from the last game, or the bathroom that has closest access to the gymnasium. And certainly, it's a real concern. We want to have a positive public image. And I told this parent, we're having a facilities subcommittee meeting on Wednesday. I'll bring it up. We'll definitely discuss it. At the same time, knowing we've been making these cuts year after year. So again, we pushed back to the high school and said, give us a plan about how you can organize the cleaning. I believe they have 17 custodians during the evening shift and 3 during the day, which the staff during the day it's just, one thing after another kind of thing. But if you've got a basketball game in the gym that night, or you have an event in the Irish auditorium that night, that's where they've got to focus the cleaning first to try to make our public spaces as appealing as they can. So those were just 2 things that really struck me about the meeting that, given the fiscal crisis we're in, and as my colleague mentioned, it's not looking like it's going to get any easier. We really have to start thinking creatively about how we maintain the safety of our buildings and maintain a clean environment that we can feel proud of when we have other communities coming into our schools, given the realities of the staffing issues that we face. And I think that this plan, this motion to ask the high school to come back with a plan for us of how they tackle these issues. And one other thing with the plumbing, it came to my attention that we have a shower system where they turn the water on and all the showers run, and somebody has to manually shut that off, and there have been times that the water has been running and running and running for hours. I mean, that's just abhorrent to me to think about the waste of the water, the waste of the hot water, the energy, and that would be part of this plan from the high school in terms of who's going to be responsible to make sure if the showers are turned on, that within a very short time later, they're also turned off. So I think that, there's some important stuff we're trying to tackle given the restraints that we have fiscally. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arnie. Mr. Conway, then Mr. Leary.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple points here. First one is, I was at that meeting, and I just have a point of a clarification. When we have a subcommittee meeting, can we invite anybody we want to? Is that all right to do that?
Yes.
It is?
Public meeting,
Okay.
yes.
All right, so we can invite anybody to that actual meeting?
Yes.
Okay, as long as we got that clear. Okay, and the second point is the concern I have, and I understand what everyone here is saying, that there is, we're talking about a school that has almost 3,500 students and the staff of 300 and so forth, and it certainly is a high-profile school. There's a lot of events that take place there, and we need to have that. We need to have that facility looking good. However, I think as my colleague to the left has said, has pointed out very clearly, that that the staff over the last few years has certainly dwindled, and it makes things very, very difficult. And I understand why we want to prioritize. There's no doubt about that. But I think that what happens is each and every one of us, when we go into a building, we see something. And when I go into a building, it might be something a little different than what my colleague might see, and it might be a little bit more important to me. And I think that when you have a staff that sees school committee people, gets telephone calls and so forth, needless to say, there's a concern. So I would also recommend, and I know it's not going to be very popular, but I would recommend that the facility subcommittee perhaps come up with a list to prioritize what is important, what we feel is important in that building too, so that we can take that list that the custodial staff is going to put together, and then our list, and let's merge it and see if we can come up with a working document. Because once again, you know, we're the people that oversee this. We should be giving direction. And no matter what field you're in the business field, the medical field, needless to say, the people that work there, the employees, the employer is certainly giving direction. So I think we should come up with some type of list to help out the custodial list, to help out the staff at the high school, just to let them know what we feel is perhaps important. Thank you.
Mr. Leary, then Ms. Larrabee.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. I think first I want to thank Mr. Leahy for taking the initiative, bringing all these people together. You know, a lot of these people, not everybody has to show up, and it's obviously due to a lot of respect to the committee chairman that folks, you know, took time out of their busy schedule to make this meeting. And in particular, I want to thank T.J. McCarthy and Dave Blazon from the city side. Interesting meeting, one of the better ones that I've attended, focused on important topics that normally don't get addressed. Mr. Blazon said something that I just didn't realize that made a lot of sense. We have a plumber, for example, that actually works at the high school Friday night football games. Never knew it, and probably never knew it because the man makes sure there's no issues with the plumbing. So Dave and Mr. Blazon made a suggestion that maybe we get a plumber when we have our wrestling events or big basketball events. I was at the wrestling tournament during the weekdays. They've always run an excellent tournament. A lot of folks from all over New England come there. I went into the bathrooms at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and the toilets were all plugged up. That's at the beginning of the event. Now, if we had a plumber or someone of a skilled level at that point, that could have been addressed. And it's not that that people are doing this on purpose and being neglectful. It's just proper allocation of staff. And I think Mr. Leahy took the initiative here to ask the high school to present us with a plan so we can look at it and help them get the right resources where they're needed. And I think, you know, Pat Harrigan, the head custodian down there, was very articulate with what he needed. I think everybody at that meeting was up front. It wasn't no one pointing fingers. It was, here's what we need, here's how we operate. Let's take a look at how we can do it more efficiently, spending money in the right areas. So we did really, as far as a plan for the facility subcommittee, that's kind of already in the works. So, and it's really thanks to Mr. Leahy. I think Mr. Leahy spent a lot of time, you know, asking questions of Pat Harrigan. Pat Harrigan was forthcoming with him. The headmaster was heavily involved as well. So I think, you know, I go to a lot of subcommittee meetings, ones that I'm a part of and not part of, but this was, it was one of the best subcommittee meetings I've attended in a long time. A lot of important information came out. As my colleague to the right articulated, we're in a big budget situation. So we have to spend money wisely, and we have to work wisely. But I feel confident with the folks that we have in place that will be able to address it. One other issue that was brought up at the meeting was to have, like, Pat Harrigan and some of our folks go out to some other school systems, taking a look at how they deal with these situations. Go out, have Mr. Curley go out with Mr. Harrigan, go out to the Springfield school system. How do they operate? What do they actually do that meets the needs under these terrific budget cuts? Go out to the Lawrence school system right down the road. Take a look at exactly what they're doing. And if they were doing everything fine, then at least we know we're checking it with other school systems. But these ideas, along with the dialogue that we had from both the city side, I think will lead to addressing some of these concerns. And as Ms. Doherty pointed out, a lot of these areas are already being worked at very successfully, but they do cost a lot of money. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Larrabee?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I certainly support a plan to address the needs at the high school, but I'd also ask that we look at district-wide, because there are many schools that are in tough shape. As you said, we've taken away custodians all across the board. One question I did have, do we have a centralized custodial program where you have one person that's looking at all the needs across the district, or is that something that would be helpful for us?
We do. Assistant Superintendent Jay Lang is responsible for operations, and along with Brian Curley, so they have a sense of exactly what the need is across the system. And again, significant cuts were made. There has been some discussion over the last year with regards to not only having various tradespeople available to us, but also having teams of custodians that would be able to go in to schools to spot clean in certain ways. So that's something that we're still working on with the union with regards, because as we have reduced people, it may be something that we need to look at with regards just to waxing floors, if that team goes in and waxes floors or steam cleans bathrooms, et cetera. So that is a work in progress.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Mr. Leahy?
Thank you. I just wanted to add that, as Mr. Leary said, it was a good discussion. We were all there in the room, and, you can't, we weren't there to point fingers. We were just there to say, how are we going to get a handle on this, and how are we going to keep up with the work? And just to answer Ms. Laraba's question, more of the other schools, I guess, they're newer, so they're not as in much need as the high school, I would say. So some of them need some paint here and there, some need a few things, but the amount of traffic at the high school, we really have to keep up with that, especially on the stairwells and the floors. And I just wanted to ask one other question pertaining to facilities. I did talk to you about the snow plowing and stuff, and I was wondering, again, I guess I just want to work in the spirit of cooperation here. The Riley School, you were there the other day when we voted, and I had asked Mr. Lang, and I don't think we can do any of this clearing out with the plow at this point. We just need to make sure that, I think there's a little bit of a disconnect. The kids get out of the back of the school now, not in the front. So I just want to make sure that who's ever over there, the city or the parks, if they could contact Mr. Lang, he can show them. I mean, we have to make use of that sidewalk, so the sidewalk should be clear,
Glenellen
plus
Road,
the
yeah.
embankment on the road. And the poor crossing woman, she's out 15 feet into the intersection. So, we got to get rid of that embankment too. So if that could be done this week, that'd be great.
Okay. I'll pass that
And
on.
again, I get a little frustrated because I'm dropping my son off there, and, the cars are all over the place. So if we can just get a handle on that and say, look, even if, I don't know, if they want to come up with a system where they page the head custodian, they say, look, we're going to be at your school, make sure you're out there with us, and we'll work together and make sure it gets done. Sometimes the Bobcat's there 2 hours earlier than the plows come, and then our guys are there. It's not working.
Okay.
So,
Better coordination.
yeah, so,
Okay.
and that would be good.
I'll
So
pass that on again.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Motion would be in order to accept the report and approve the minutes of the Facility Subcommittee meeting of January 13. Motion by Ms. Larrabee, second by Mr. Leary. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, to vote. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, reports of the superintendent. And there are 4 reports this evening.
Thank
Madam
you.
Superintendent?
The first report's annual measurable achievement objectives, and the Department of Elementary Secondary Education is required by Title II of No Child Left Behind to establish annual measurable achievement objectives for the English language acquisition and academic achievement of limited English proficient students. Attached for your review is how we did K-12. It's a very impressive report, so I'd like to read it in full. The spring 2009 administration of the Massachusetts English Proficiency Assessment was the first administration of the redesigned test, the 6th year of the MEPA program that is part of the Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System, which we call MCAS. The MEPA tests were redesigned to more accurately measure the level of English proficiency of limited English proficient, or what we call LEP students, and to be more useful to educators in making reclassification decisions for students. Title III requires that the annual measurable achievement objectives are established for students in grades K to 12 in 3 categories. 1, progress toward acquiring English language proficiency. 2, attainment of English language proficiency. And 3, adequate yearly progress of LEP subgroup in both English language arts and mathematics. The attached report demonstrates that Lowell schools have outperformed the state in progress and exceeded our own district target in attainment. In the progress category, the state target was 60% and our district performance rate was 66%. In the category of attainment, our district target for 2009 the percentage of LEP students who scored in the upper half of level 4 and level 5 was 35%, and the district performance was 43%. In the areas of adequate yearly progress, AYP, in the content areas of English language arts and mathematics on MCAS, our LEP students did not make AYP in grades 3 through 8, but however, the indicator of the overall long-term success of our students who stay with us through to grade 10 was that all of our students, all of our LEP students made AYP at the high school level in English language arts and mathematics, and developmentally, with good instruction, that's what you want to see. It's understandable that children coming to us in younger grades with English as their second language may in fact not be able to be meet proficient levels in the MCAS, but with time, our students do meet AYP. Beyond the good news of the overall improvement in LEP scores, I'm proud to report that the Lowell Public Schools is one of 14 districts in Massachusetts with 1 or more Title I schools in which LEP students are making significant gains. There are 36 schools across the Commonwealth that made significant gains over the past 2 years. In 8 of these 36 schools, approximately 22% of the schools in the state are Lowell Public Schools. This is wonderful news for our school system and underscores the positive impact of the work of our students and our teachers and the support of the school committee. The 8 schools that have received this recognition, the Daly Middle School, the Pine Arts Magna School, the Stocklosa, the Shaughnessy, the Washington, the Wang, the Lincoln, and the Butler Middle School. These results make Lowell Public School eligible to apply for a Title I-B Academic Achievement Grant at both the district and school levels. This funding will support the continuation and refinement of the effective practices in place at our schools. And it goes on to describe just how we do apply for the grant. But again, congratulations to staff, and I appreciate Deputy Superintendent Franco for the report.
Thank you. Any questions? Ms. Martin?
Thank you very much. I was curious about the grant process. So just so I understand this, basically what's going to happen is that in our current school year, we'll have 6 months where really DESE is going to be conducting the review. They're going to be coming in and reviewing best practices, seeing why our schools have been so successful. Yes. And then the second part of this would be basically next school year, we'd be eligible to apply for additional funds. So as I'm looking at this, the idea of we'd be basically looking to take what's working and just further drive it into the program, or? Exactly. Thank you.
Madam Superintendent?
That is my understanding, and I think it is this particular approach to receiving this grant is a little bit different than other grants that we've received. And when I read the criteria that we had to meet for the grant, it's more in line with the Race to the Top monies, where school districts are really being asked, those of us who have good practices in place, the state wants to study them so that they can replicate them. And I mean, this hasn't been fully articulated to us in this way, but that's as I take it. They want to come in and say, why are these 8 schools in Lowell so high performing relative to other schools serving similar children's needs. And I think that's part of the criteria. Once we do that, we can apply for a considerable amount of money, as in my memo to you in the FYI packet. I believe it's $45,000 roughly per school, to deepen those exact practices that they're going to come study.
That was exactly my impression, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Conway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just very briefly, I just want to say and compliment the staff on this is a great report. And a lot of times we run into such negative problems during the school year. And it's great to take a look at a report right now and to see the positive things that are going on. And this, of course, shows and reinforces the fact that we have an effective and a competent staff, and I congratulate each and every one of them. It's, again, going in the right direction. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. Any other discussion on the report? That would accept this report as a report of progress by Ms. Doherty, second by Ms. Larrabee. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote. Thank you. Second report dealing with refugee student enrollment. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Your Honor. This report is timely given the fact that we are looking at increased enrollment numbers with regards to the charter school students who may be joining Lowell Public Schools. And I would like to bring to the committee's attention that as of, on the very first page, and I'll speak to the table, as of January of this year, at the elementary level, we have 71 students at the elementary level who have joined us from countries all around the world, and I'll speak to that in just a minute. 49 at the middle school and 45 at Lowell High. Just on the next page with regards to, we are thinking that we will see an increase again from now till June at the elementary school, 39, middle school, another 16 students, and at Lowell High, another 18 students. And we are bringing this to your attention at this time because our present programming is being basically maxed out with regards to the number of students that we can presently serve at the Greenouch School, as well as the Robinson, and at Lowell High. So I have requested this to go to not only a curriculum subcommittee, but perhaps a curriculum/personnel subcommittee to look at the impact that this will have on our need to hire additional teachers. And we're thinking it could be upward to 10 before the end of the year. So obviously that's something that will present a significant financial challenge to us. But at this time, we are, again, it's very difficult to have classes of children who do not speak English and have them over 20. So 25 and 30, which this number of children coming into our system would just basically disrupt the learning of all the children in the room. So it is a significant issue for us, and we do think that we do need to spend a little bit of time in deciding exactly how we're going to staff these programs.
Thank you. Ms. Doherty.
Thank you, Your Honor. Through you to the superintendent. I guess on one hand, I think if anybody's set for the challenge, we are. We've just, as the previous report demonstrated, we are good at helping children learn English.
And we thought that was a good combination.
My concern is, you're talking about 238 students altogether who are coming from pretty refugee camps. I mean, it's not just that they need to learn English. They don't have a good foundation in their native language. So I'm wondering, now I get to my question, are there any supports in terms of financial supports or other kinds of supports that come with these children? That's my question.
I'll speak to that, and then I will ask Deputy Superintendent to speak to it as well. But no, there isn't, to my understanding, any significant amount of money that comes from the federal government or from any other agency. We have been talking with One Lowell, and you do have to have a significant number of children who speak a particular language, and I'm not exactly sure what the threshold is. Maybe Deputy Franco can speak to that. But part of our issue right now throughout the system is that these group of children, these refugees, and many of them at the middle school level, come from 7 different or 8 different countries around the world, so we don't have necessarily the threshold for any one particular group. But Deputy Franco?
As far as the funding piece, there's a $40,000 refugee impact grant that has come to Lowell and has not gone up. We've done some miraculous things with that money. We have part-time parent liaisons to support the kids in their native languages in buildings, but we didn't. That's the only amount that was additional with this particular group. We will, in fact, get more additional Chapter 70 money with these additional kids because they will be LEP children, and I think that, you know, that will go up for our next year's budget. But however, there's nothing that has come along with these children at this particular time to augment the services they're going to need with ESL certified people addressing their needs. So we'd have to look at any kind of funding or grant or Title I to see, but yeah, it hasn't come with any funding.
Madam Superintendent?
And just point of clarification on what Deputy Franco just said, and just keep in mind, these enrollment numbers, again, these children have come to us over the fall and into the winter, and the projections on the second page are obviously to the spring, the point being that if these children weren't in front of us October 1, there's no Chapter 70 money coming next year either. So these are real teachers that we need with no official funding. The $40,000, as you all know, doesn't even cover a full salary of one person, let alone the 10 that we perhaps will be looking for here.
Thank you. Ms. Martin, then Mr. Leahy.
Thank you. And I think you've presupposed exactly what my concern was. I mean, the way that our foundation budget is calculated, this doesn't even register until a year from September.
Right.
So that's, you know, an extraordinary long time. I would certainly take your recommendation that this be referred to the curriculum and finance subcommittees, a joint meeting to discuss this. What would be great is when we have that meeting, one of the models that I know has been successful for us has been our model at the Moody with the Brazilian population. So it would be great to kind of maybe have some insights from that. And if there's, I recognize these are low incidence, so there's no kind of critical mass perhaps to start that kind of programming. But it would be interesting to see if we could take the best of what's happened at the Moody, and I know they travel up to the Butler, and I think that could be that could really inform our conversation as we move forward.
So we have a motion by Ms. Martin, seconded by Ms. Doherty, to refer the Refugee Student Enrollment Report to a joint meeting of the Finance Subcommittee and the Curriculum and Instruction Subcommittee. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, to vote. Any other discussion on the report, Mr. Leahy?
Thank you. I would also like to suggest, too, that when we have our meeting, we've done in the past, we've met with Representative Tsongas, Congresswoman Tsongas, but let's, you know, send out some letters to the Congresswoman again and to our new Senator, Senator Brown, because this is all Title I, Title III monies, federal monies, right? So, you know, let them hear from us, show them our need, and, you know, maybe something gets done. But if we don't inform them, they'll never know. And if we don't ask, we'll never receive them. So I would encourage us to be vocal and loud about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Motion by Ms. Larrabee, seconded by Mr. Conway, to accept the report of the refugee student enrollment. It's a report of progress. Signify by saying aye. Opposed, vote. Thank you. Next update, next report, update of cyber safety efforts. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a very important topic that we are concerned about, and during the 2008-2009 school year, the instructional technology specialists and the library media specialists worked to develop a cyber safety curriculum which addresses appropriate online behavior and the potential risks of social networking. In addition, procedural guidelines have been developed for administrators when addressing students' inappropriate use of cell phones and social networking sites. On May 4th, 2009, our first cyber safety Night was held at the Sullivan School for all Lowell Public School families, staff, and community members. In coordination with the Middlesex Partnership for Youth Program, information was presented on appropriate use of social networking websites, text messaging, cell phones, and the potential dangers in sharing information through cyberspace. Strategies for maintaining cyber safety at home and school were highlighted. Planning has begun for this year's Cyber Safety Night, which will be in collaboration with the Lowell Police Department and the Middlesex District's Attorney's Office. The forum, which will be open to the community at large, will continue to address appropriate online behavior and the dangers of social networking websites, as well as an approach for monitoring online activity. We will also underscore the legal implications for transferring inappropriate pictures and messages through cell phones and cyberspace. I will notify you when the date and location for the Cyber Safety Night has been confirmed. This is an ongoing issue that we face in all of our schools, in particular the middle school and the high school, and we really do need to educate our families on the issues that are very significant so that our students better appreciate why we're concerned about appropriate use of their cell phones and emails and their online behavior. So we will make sure that our community at large is aware of this Cyber Safety Night, and I appreciate Assistant Superintendent Murphy's efforts on this and her collaboration with the Lowell Police Department and the Middlesex District DA's office.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Mr. Leahy?
Thank you, through you, Your Honor, to the superintendent. I want to thank Ann Murphy for this. As you said, it's very important. Does this discussion fall under bullying with the, or maybe not bullying, but
Yes.
in our sex education?
Yes.
Okay, that's, I want to make sure. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Any further discussion on the report? Motion by Mr. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Leary to accept the report as presented. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, to vote. The last report from the superintendent, the fiscal year 2011 budget meetings.
Thank you,
Madam
Your Honor.
Superintendent.
So the memo went out with regards to our 2011 budget meetings. I've attached, just as a working document for us, as discussed at our last meeting, the proposal that we would put out some tentative dates, the second and fourth Wednesday of the month, except for the exception of March 31st. The chambers here are is available for us to meet in. And the topics that we feel need to be discussed, and it may take 1, 2, or 3 dates to cover some of these particular topics. As you can appreciate, any one of these topics, there's a significant amount of preparation on our part to get ready for these meetings, and I would like some feedback, one, on the dates, and I'm not necessarily sure the wish of the committee on how you'd like to handle that. I can have, and I know Mr. Larry and I spoke yesterday, and it may be difficult for some members to commit to dates far into the future. However, with that said, I think it would be helpful for us just to speak to the topics as we've presently identified them and the way we're going to organize those particular topics.
If I could, and I think, thank you,
Mr.
Madam
Leary.
Superintendent. I think one other part, too, that we need to include, I'm the one who has a problem, if maybe others, booking into March, April, May, June. We also want to make sure we can invite some of the business community and the parent community. One of the things that the last committee worked on very aggressively was inviting the Lowell plan, discussing options with those folks, as well as George Duncan, Kendall Wallace, the Lowell Friends of Lowell High, and I go on forever. We want to really get the parent groups involved, get folks involved that we never had before to a full level at the beginning. So I think, I like the idea of having the meetings every other Wednesday. I can commit to the month of February because I know my calendar's clear, but I don't, March, April, May, I travel a lot. I don't know what I'm going to commit to. I like the idea of getting some generic topics, general discussion topics, so we can invite community members and have discussions with them. So I think it's a good start. I just don't know if I can commit to March 10th today to say that I'm actually going to be available at that point. I don't know if anybody really can as well. But I think as a general discussion point going forward, I think booking in February 10th, and I can book February 24th. That might be a vacation week, I'm not sure, but having at least get the first date started, get that topic scheduled, and invite any party that wants to be a part of it. I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. Ms. Martin?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I can certainly understand the concerns about scheduling. I have to say, I have a conflict on the fourth Wednesday of every month because that's a board meeting at Community Teamwork, where I know the mayor will hopefully be in attendance as well. So I know that that's difficult with Wednesday nights. So, I mean, in terms of looking at the list, I could certainly commit saying to one, but the fourth Wednesday, I'll have a consistent commitment, conflict.
Thank you. Ms. Doherty?
This is just going to get more and more complicated. I, like my colleague to the left, I can commit to both Wednesdays in February, but I serve on the board of the Mass Association of School Committees, and we're not meeting in February. We meet the second Wednesday. So that would be the second Wednesday in March. I would not be able to meet. I would suggest if we could do that Wednesday in February, or whatever date everybody can do in February, that we start with that and then figure out a March date. Because I couldn't do the second Wednesday in March, and you can't do the fourth Wednesday in March, so we got an issue right there. But in terms of February, I'm fine with either of the Wednesdays, and it appears that Mr. Leary is. I don't know about my other colleagues. I think it is important to try to at least establish the first one, so I support that.
So we're going to go with February 10th and February 24th, and at the February.
At least
Goes without me.
well, I think we should at least get the February 10th in, and then maybe
Okay,
we can go from
We'll
there.
go with the February 10th and decide from that point forward. Okay, that being said, any further discussion on the report? Accept the report as presented by Mr. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Conway. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Votes to vote. Thank you. Ms. Doherty.
Yes, we will be holding that meeting here, correct? Because it said that the council chambers are available. Great.
Yes. Thank you. Any new business to come before the committee this evening? Hearing none, moving on. Convention and conference requests. We have 3 convention and conference requests.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion that we take all 3 together. And I would
Motion by
move
Ms.
to
Doherty,
approve.
seconded by, motion by Ms. Martin, seconded by Ms. Doherty. All those in favor of taking the 3 requests together signify by saying aye. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Ms. Doherty,
Yes.
Ms. Larrabee,
Yes.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mayor Milonazo,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Thank you. Under communications, we have a thank you letter dated December 8th, 2009, from the Department of the Air Force Air University, addressed to Mr. Samaras and Colonel Richard Regala. Actually, we probably should just, accept this as a communication, place it on file. By Mr. Leary, seconded by Ms. Martin. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Vote. Thank you. Professional development items, civil service items. Motion to adjourn by Mr. Leary, seconded by Ms. Martin. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote. Thank you.
Okay.
Good meeting, thank you.